This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We're talking about an NBC report. You can go to msnbc.deepbackground.com to get more information on the report that says that about a quarter of the footnotes, was it, Robert Windrum? The footnotes of the 9/11 report were based on coercive interrogations of prisoners. Robert Windrum is our guest, NBC News investigative reporter. Michael Ratner, Center for Constitutional Rights. And we're joined in Charlottesville, Virginia, by the executive director of the 9/11 Commission, Philip Zelikow. Michael Ratner, I cut you off just before break. Your response?
Well, I was a bit surprised to hear Phil say that you can't assume that the evidence that he had from the interrogation was based on torture. Can I say it 100%? No. But you can say that he based it on Zubaydah, colleague Sheikh Mohammed, and others who we now know were waterboarded. And they're the evidence that's used. So you put two and two together, you get four. You get the fact, essentially, that these people were tortured to get their testimony. And the question that Phil didn't answer for me is really when he went back for the next round of 30 questions, did he think that torture might be used to get those answers? And when he had his meeting, which he had with Kanan, Hamilton, and Tenet, he sat in the room for a number of meetings with Tenet, the head of the CIA, asking about access to the witnesses. Did he ask Tenet whether these people were tortured?
Philip Zelikow, did you ask Tenet whether these people were tortured?
I did not, but that wasn't. I wasn't the person who was pushing the issue directly with Tenet. That was more the job of my bosses in the commission, Tom Kane, Lee Hamilton, and other commissioners.
And did they question George Tenet directly? Did they ask him, were these prisoners tortured?
They did not ask him, as far as I know, and they were present in meetings I didn't attend, but as far as I know, they did not ask him directly what interrogation methods had been used. They said, we need all the details surrounding this questioning. We need to know how these people were questioned. We need much more details. We want to talk to the interrogators. We want to talk to the people themselves so that we can ourselves assess the credibility of these accounts that we're using.
Robert Windrum, let me put a question to Robert Windrum. This issue of the prisoners now saying that they were tortured, coming before a Pentagon tribunal, 4 of them saying they gave the information only to stop the torture?
At least 4, because there was large sections of the testimony of the combatant status review tribunals that was redacted by the Pentagon. Those sections invariably were sections about torture, interrogation methods, however you want to describe it. But at least 4 of them said, indeed, that they had provided information only as a result of being tortured, and they used the word torture. They did not use enhanced interrogation techniques. They said torture. And 2 of them, as I recall, said that they recanted what they had said during those interrogations because it was not the truth. And Abu Zubaydah, in particular, went into detail as to what he had said under torture and what he was now recanting. So you do have now the other issue of a public record, once again, the Combatant Status Tribunal hearing record, which says that there was torture and also that, indeed, it led to false testimony.
I'd like to ask you, Philip Zelikow, on the issue of the book by Philip Shenon, The Commission, The Uncensored History of the 9/11 Investigation, raises obviously some disturbing criticism in addition about the Commission's work. I was struck in particular by the questions he raised about your communications with Karl Rove during that period, and also that the issue of whether you sought to have your secretary remove the logs of your phone calls with Karl Rove during that period. Could you respond to those issues raised by Shenon?
Well, not only can I respond to them, the commissioners actually have responded and will respond to anyone who asks them, because I was authorized by the commission to talk to White House officials regularly, as was the General Counsel Dan Marcus. But on this business of Rove, it's a little ironic since I don't even really know Rove. We had 2 brief contacts that had to do with University of Virginia business because I used to direct the Presidential Research Center. In both cases, we handed off the issues to others. The university actually has records on this matter. I told Shenon all of this. The business about phone logs, actually 2 of the 3 people who took my calls don't even remember this story. This appears to be a garble having to do with whether the message slips would be left out on the counter.
Well, let me ask you directly this very straightforward allegation of Philip Shenon, that he said that you called in your secretary, shut the door, informed her she was no longer to keep phone logs of your contacts with the White House. She got so alarmed that she went, thinking it was improper, that she went to the chief lawyer for the commission to alert him about what's happened. Did you tell her not to keep logs of your White House calls?
If someone will just go talk to the chief lawyer of the commission, you don't have to rely on my account of this. I mean, there are other people who have knowledge of these facts, and there's no there.
And so you're saying you did not tell her? You did not tell her not to keep logs?
There are no phone logs for the commission. There are no phone. The commission had no phone logs. So